Okay, here we are on a day out prospecting. We're in Gippsland, south of Bullimore, or really southwest of Bullimore, along Tabarabra track. I was aware of these diggings. I hadn't really had much of a look at them, but decided today just to go for a very, very quick wander around. I give the detector a bit of a swing, but not for very long. I wanted to have a look at a couple of other spots, and as I left home fairly late because it was below zero, so I was waiting for it to warm up a little before I headed out. So this part of the video is just showing walking along the track, having a bit of a look at the diggings, and before I head off and have a look at a couple of other spots. I didn't find anything, just the normal lead shot, which seems about the norm for swinging an SDC 2300. Anyway, that's this spot, and we're off Tabarabra Road. Okay, we've now moved on. We're along Fred Wegg's track, which has become pretty well the Burke Street of prospectors in Gippsland. This is referred to as the Chinese diggings. I've found no reference to this anywhere in looking at online and books and what have you. I originally came here a couple of years ago after seeing a reference to it on one of the prospector forums from about 2012, and I was using the metal detector here and finding the odd very, very small piece, and then I'm not sure what happened, but it just it went nuts. It's fairly rare to come here and not see somebody else. So yeah, I don't know what happened. So you can swing a detector. We're up on the hill. Prospect Creek is below us, and Prospect Creek is in this area is very, very popular and very fruitful. There's a couple of guys I know have done very, very well with the pan and sluicing and what have you, and I'm getting too old for all of it, and I just come along and have a bit of a potter and do reasonably well. I always take a little bit of colour home, although it does appear now that it's been worked very, very hard. So this is just a look around up top from the creek where all the diggings were, and I had a bit of a swing of the detector here as well, and I just got the lead shot as per normal. It's just been control burned by DELP, as you can probably see in the video, so that makes it pretty good actually to have a look around in areas that we probably haven't had a detector swung over. Although I did notice up the top here where my vehicle's parked that someone's been camped there. So there's been spending some time having a look around. Anyway, so that's where we are, the Chinese diggings at Fred Wegg's track. Okay, I'm now down the bottom of the area that I was previously walking around, which is where all the diggings are. There's still some a few little diggings and so on where I am here, but this is a track down to Prospect Creek. The Chinese worked this creek fairly extensively. You can see evidence of that by walking along it and seeing things where they've had stakes driven into granite to run flumes across the river or whatever they were doing, or the creek. It's a lot of granite, and in some of it it's huge. In some areas of it, this creek runs a fair distance. This is Prospect Creek, runs up from the other side of Bullenwall, and is also known as Boggy Creek. It's one and the same, I believe. The track in here has been modified somewhat since the Delp burn, because there's trees across the original track in, and I had to back up in one spot. The normal way I come in the four-wheel drive wasn't suitable. So here I'm walking down the track. I didn't want to drive the vehicle down. It's although you can see that someone does, and they've got a camp. A couple of guys I know that camp here from time to time, so they've left their wood stack there, and it's only right on the edge of the creek, so it's a handy little spot. And the track's reasonably good, but in one spot very steep, and because I'm by myself, I get a little bit nervous about getting caught. There's no one else around. There's a little fireplace they've fabricated, and it looks like they've been here fairly recently. So yeah, good spot. And I did meet a couple of guys camped here, and one of them in particular is quite friendly, and sat down and had a cup of tea and had a bit of a yarn. There's their clothesline, so looks like they've been here for a while. So now we're just walking down from the little camp, and you can see the creek. There's not much water flowing at the moment, although a bit more than last time I was here. It was pretty well dry. So we are getting some small improvement in water flow. But when there's a lot of water here, you can hear sluices and what have you running, or pumps running if you're up on a high part of the hill detecting. Anyway, so that's it. Prospect Creek at Fredwig's track, and a very, very popular spot. Okay, we're now at Boggy Creek, downstream by a long way from where we were at Fredwig's track. It's called Boggy Creek. It's the same creek, and normally there's a lot of water in it, and I cover this little bridge on the way to and from Bullenwall. And I have had a bit of a look, but there's, as I said, normally a lot of water. And about a month ago, Gail and I were driving back from Bullenwall, and I stopped and had a bit of a squiz, walked along the creek and found some bedrock, and thought, I must come back and have a play. So yesterday on the way home, I did stop, and the nice little area of bedrock that I'd found someone's been in there and done some crevicing and panning. It was starting to get cold. I didn't want to stay too long, but I did take a bucket of material home. I've subsequently panned that this morning, and I got nothing, not even a speck. So not somewhere I would rush to go back to. And a lot of little garnets in there, but that was about all. A little bit of black sand, but no colour whatsoever. So there's certain spots that I go to along Prospect Creek that I know 100% I'm going to bring colour home, but so I just go back there, and even if it's a couple of specks, it's an enjoyable pastime. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your little tour of Gippsland, and specifically along Mia Road. See ya.